You know those animated stories you see online? The animation's pretty simple, they're often dubbed into like a dozen languages, but the plots are just weirdly compelling, and they always feel kind of familiar, right? Well, there's a reason for that, and today we're going to dive into the strange and wonderful world of these modern online fables.
Yeah, I know. It sounds like the start of a really strange joke. A jail made of solid gold, lemons that literally sparkle and grow out of nowhere, and a pressure cooker that makes golden food. I mean, they seem totally random. But here's the thing. What if I told you they're all basically telling the exact same story?
And that's the secret. These aren't just quirky little stories about magic. Nope. They are modern fables, and they're all built on this incredibly powerful, repeating pattern. It's a formula that's designed to do one thing, and do it really, really well. Teach a simple moral lesson in a way you won't forget.
So, what is the secret code? Well, we can actually break it down into a super clear 4-step formula. And trust me, once you see this, you're going to start spotting it everywhere. Let's crack open the blueprint for these digital morality tales. Okay, here it is. It almost always kicks off with step 1, virtuous hardship. You've got a good person or a good family facing a really tough time. Then comes step 2, a moral test. This is the moment of truth where they have to make a big choice. That decision leads to the really fun part. Step 3, miraculous intervention, where something totally unbelievable happens. And it all wraps up with step 4, cosmic justice. The universe steps in to deliver the perfect reward or the perfect punishment. Okay, so to really see how this works, let's start with a story where things go, well, horribly wrong for the bad guy. This is the story of a jealous vendor whose own trap backfires in the most amazing way, and it perfectly shows how the formula deals with vice.
So, our story starts with two vendors. You have Dewalker, who's honest. He works hard and he's doing pretty well. And then you have Pyrev. And Pyrev is just eaten up with jealousy. That's his moral flaw, right from the start. And this jealousy pushes him to trick Dewalker, frame him for stealing, and convince him to go hide out in this old, abandoned jail. It's a classic setup for a moral test, right?
But here's where the story takes a wild turn. While the good guy, Dewalker, is gone, a couple of thieves decide to hide their stolen gold. You guessed it, right inside that abandoned jail. So when Byrov goes back to gloat, he finds it. And this is his real moral test. Does he do the right thing? Of course not. His greed just completely takes over. He screams, "This gold is mine," and just starts shoveling it into a bag.
And boom, here it is. Step 4, cosmic justice. The police, who are already looking for the thieves, show up at that exact moment. They find Byrov, red-handed, with the stolen gold. The very jail he used to trap an innocent man becomes his own prison. How perfect is that? The good farmer goes free, and the greedy vendor gets taken down by his own awful plan. But the formula isn't just about punishing the bad guys, it's also about rewarding the good ones. So now, let's look at how this exact same 4-step pattern works for good people who are facing absolutely impossible odds in a couple of other stories. Let's start with the hardship. In this one story, a laborer named Raghunath has a terrible accident. His wife, Lakshmi, finds out he needs an operation that costs 20 lakh rupees. I mean, that is a completely impossible amount of money for them. This isn't just a small problem, it's a crushing, life-altering crisis. This is virtuous hardship in a nutshell.
And this slide, it just lays out the formula perfectly, side by side. On the left, you've got Yogi and Neetu. Their hardship, their daughter is sick and they can't afford medicine. Their moral test, they choose to help an old woman, for free. On the right, you have Lakshmi's family, facing that massive medical bill. Their test? To pull together and work as a team. And in both cases, their good deeds trigger this unbelievable, miraculous intervention. Magical lemon seeds for one and a magical idli cooker for the other. Now, this is so crucial. The virtue here is proactive. It's not just about being a good person who suffers quietly. When they're hit with this impossible situation, Lakshmi's kids are the ones who say, "Hey, let's start a business." They say, if we all work together, we can do it. It's that unity, that decision to fight back together that acts as the trigger for the miracle that's about to happen. So we've seen the formula punish greed, and we've seen it reward kindness. But the million-dollar question is why? Is this simple structure so unbelievably powerful? Why do these stories get millions and millions of views? Well, the answer gets at some really basic human needs that these little stories satisfy perfectly. The power is in its simplicity and, honestly, its predictability.
Real life is messy, it's confusing, and a lot of the time it feels really unfair. These fables just cut right through all of that. They give us absolute moral clarity. Good is good, bad is bad, and there's no gray area. That's incredibly comforting. They give us hope, a promise that if you just hang in there and do the right thing, a miracle is waiting. And maybe the biggest thing of all, they satisfy this deep need we have for justice. They deliver these clean, fair outcomes in a way the real world so often doesn't. It's like a perfect little narrative package for our brain.
And that really leaves us with one last thing to think about. As our own world feels more and more complicated and chaotic, is our attraction to these simple stories, where the rules are clear and justice is always served, is that appeal actually getting stronger? It's something to chew on the next time a video about a magical pot of golden idlis pops up in your feed.